Good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by Healing Conversations with Z. I am Zuri Bibi, and we're going to talk for a moment. But I am going to do some cards later on, shortly afterwards. But I don't know. I guess this can be considered part of my inner work. I've written about it before in my book, but I don't know if I really talked about it per se on my channel. And when I do my own inner work, everybody has their own way of doing it prior, via the program. Um, but how I connect to it is a little different. And I use my cards while I'm doing the work so that I can zoom in on things I need to zoom in on. And I've gotten this card several times. And in this deck, it's called Three of Air. Whereas in the traditional tarot deck, it's called Three of Swords. And most Three of Swords is heartbreak. And so I'm just being nosy because I'm hearing noises. Um, Divine Masculine is not here. He went to work. If he comes in while I'm talking, then he comes in, he gets to hear this message. Um, but I'm here to talk about heartbreak. And I'm here to talk about, well, let me read with this deck why I really like this deck. I really like this deck because I have several decks, and each one of them talk about heartbreak. Each Three of Swords talks about heartbreak. But I wanted this plant, this herb, I wanted to work with herbs because it talks about how you can heal. And in this book, this is what it has to say. Speak the truth about your heartbreak. Be the medicine that heals the pierced heart. Healing from grief takes time. And this plant is the eucalyptus. The eucalyptus flowers pierce the sky on a cloudy summer day. An abandoned barn with a rusted roof stands in the background. The sun and rain battle for position. Bursts of light are followed by short showers. Tattered petals of pink flowers fall as the plant bends toward the ground to offer its seeds. New buds emerge from beneath the thick green layers of leaves. Heartache leads to self-knowledge. You may be confronted with an agonizing reality. Wild euthanasia, a potent medicinal that once blanketed the prairies of North America, is now endangered. We may never again experience wild, abundant fields of this electrifying pink flower. See things as they truly are and accept the loss. Healing lies in your ability to learn from your devastation. Euthanasia remedies increase resistance to infection and build a strong body. Embracing painful truths leads to resilience. Seek out strong allies who will help you through the grieving process. Find comfort in your sorrow. Euthanasia is a slow-growing plant. Sit with your grief as long as it takes. Now, I'm not in any grief right now, or maybe I am. Well, let me take that back. I can talk about from my childhood how I was a very sad kid. I mean, I was a happy kid. People saw me smiling all the time, but I really was a sad kid because, well, after 9, I was a sad kid. Let me put it that way. Prior to my father passing away, I was a happy kid. Matter of fact, the name my father gave me was Funny Face because I was always smiling and I was always happy. I was always doing things. But after he passed away, it was like it changed overnight. The sadness came in. I was heartbroken. I never had a chance to process his passing away. I saw him that Sunday morning, and then Sunday night he was gone. My family didn't believe in therapy, so we didn't do therapy. So I didn't even have anybody to talk to about it. Growing up, seeing other kids with their fathers was hard. I didn't like it, and I didn't like when people, and I hate, I hate to even put it this way, but normally it would be white people. When they realized I didn't have a father, they would just assume that my father ran off and left my mother with the kids. until they realize, oh, Mackie, chill out. Until they realized my father was deceased. My father didn't leave me because he just ran off to a third party situation. My father was gone from this planet. He was taken away. And, you know, those things that those people put on me added to my sadness. Now, because I hadn't processed the sadness, you know, once you take on one negative entity, others come in. And I think that is what allowed the sexual abuse to come in. I think that's what allowed the verbal abuse, because my mother was very verbal and physically abusive. Um, it definitely tampered with my self-esteem. How I related to other people was definitely not very positive. I had, I had close friends, but they weren't really close. I don't really let people in. I've let the divine masculine in further than I've let anybody in. And he doesn't even know this. He doesn't know that I've let him in. My mother is definitely not in. My sister's not in. My brother's definitely not in. My children are there. You know, they see things and they may know things, but they're into a certain level because they're my children. So that's all that they'll get little informations from me. But my sadness ran deep. But why I like this deck is because I can heal myself while talking about this deepness. You know, when I was younger and I would tell people about what was going on, they didn't listen to me. So that helped increase the sadness and the heartbreak. When I would date somebody and the boy decided he wanted to go date the girl up the street, I had nobody to talk to about how to deal with that heartbreak. When I was older and the boys would say, "Oh, we don't want to be with you because you're too skinny." Heartbreak. Heartbreak when divine masculine would deal with other women who were way different than me. I'm a little itty bitty 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 thinking big girls. And I think big girls has something to do with his inner child. If he'll ever admit it, who knows? I don't know. But I am way different than the people he's ever dated before, because in the past, he dated big girls. The karmics or lessons, I don't really like calling them karmics anymore either. But the lessons that he's ran over to, they were normally bigger girls. It was what it was, but it caused heartbreak. And so, as I deal with process this heartbreak, I'm understanding that the heartbreak happened. It was able to roll and get bigger and bigger and larger because I was never able to process it until I began the program. Now, Sophia had made a video yesterday about not talking about her programs and not doing things if you weren't doing the work. And I was kind of triggered by that because I was like, well, wait a minute. I've been doing the work and I'm here with Divine Masculine. A lot of times you hear him laughing in the background while I'm making the videos. He lets me do them. He knows I'm doing the videos, and I say, well, I'm getting ready to go back here and do whatever. And he'll say, okay. And I leave the door open now. We're beginning to have an understanding of things between one another now. So it's kind of interesting. So that video kind of triggered me for a minute because I was kind of questioning, like, well, I'm doing the work. My gift is knowledge, spreading positive information on how you can, work with your issues, and I do put it in a story form. I don't necessarily say, well, this is what you need to do, and this is what, because I know everybody doesn't learn that way. I'm not that kind of person. I'm all over the place. I like to look at pictures via flowers. I do look at people, but depending on some of those decks I don't like because I don't relate to those people. I'm a melanin sister, and sometimes I look at them pictures and it's kind of like, is that my reality? Can I relate to this? The medieval times and things like that. Sometimes I don't relate to them. I relate to the message. I like the messages, but sometimes when I look at it, there's a block for me because it doesn't look the same. And I've been dealing with that as well. That's a heartbreak, because I've been in my community. There's a colorism issue too. If you're not light, bright, almost white, the guys didn't want you back in the day. I don't know if it's still like that now. Most white people might not even understand that. They might not. I know my Hispanic people know it. I know my Indian people know it. I know my Indian people, Indian meaning over in India. I know they know it, but most of the my I don't I want to be respectful. I'm just saying white, Caucasian. They don't understand that. They don't get it. Um, but it's heartbreak. It's been a lot in my life. It's been a lot of heartbreak, a lot of stuff that I've had to learn how to process and decipher and make sense of and figure out. Okay, is this something I'm going to live? Is this going to be part of my story? Or is this going to be something that I experience and then I shed it? Because prior to coming into the community, I was already processing things. I was already doing a lot of this stuff unknowingly via the laws of the planet. I didn't know it, but I was doing it. So here I go. I'm waffling. Yeah, as Sophia says, waffling. I'm getting drawn, but this feeling of heartbreak. If you can talk about it and shed it, put the light on it, so that it can be clearly seen, clearly deciphered, clearly snatched at the root, then you have control over it. You can balance. Not that it's going to be gone all the way, but you can balance it out. You can take it, make it where it's not controlling you, because that's when you have heartbreak and you haven't worked on yourself. This heartbreak can control you. That's why you see people on TV and, in the past, because I turned the TV off. Divine Masculine left it on when he left and I had to shut it off. You hear people, those fatal attraction, people running, going and killing people. People going in schools, killing people. People going into the bank, killing people. People going to a job, killing people. It's because of some type of heartache, some type of stuff that happened to them that they never processed, and somebody triggered them. It triggered them to the point where they didn't have any control over it. So whoever's watching this, please deal with your heartbreak. Even if you don't have the program, you still can think about things that happened to you in your childhood. What happened in your childhood that brought heartache? I talked about it one time when the girl stomped out my lunch pail, my Fred Flintstone lunch pail. That was heartache. But how did I deal with it? The next day I went back and I beat her ass. That's what I did. The heartache was still there, but I had satisfaction knowing that she felt some kind of pain too after doing what she did. But she stomped on my lunch pail because she had some heartache, some type of lack mentality. Like I said, once you had that heartache, her lack mentality, low self-confidence, all those negatives kind of delve into them. So I don't know, with me doing, I woke up this morning with this picture in my head, and it finally said, look, you're going to have to deal with this today, because I haven't been dealing with it. I haven't publicly on my channel been dealing with it. I've been dealing with it. I've been dealing with the issues that I've had with Divine Masculine in the past. There's a lot of heartache. He was over there a whole bunch of times. He could be over there now, as far as, I don't know, but I'm just doing me. I've come to the point in my journey whereas whatever he's doing will not affect me. It has no effect on me, because I'm taking care of me. Hopefully by me working on me, it will work through him and he won't feel the need to go over there to do whatever it is he's doing. If he's doing it, perception. That was an issue for me as well, from the heartache. I was perceiving everything being negative towards me as a child and young adult. I can honestly say that. Everybody was against me. Everybody was doing these things to me. And I didn't know how to get out of that, out of that victim mentality, because it had been a lot of things had been done to me, and the people around me were like, well, it happened to you, oh well. And I was like, well, dang, you know, how do I deal with that heartache? That was, that just added more to the perception that I was having of being hurt, of my heart being hurt, of not being heard. So it took a while. I had to really go through some things, think about the things that I've experienced, the people I've been around. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've experienced a lot of stuff. And maybe I will talk about those things. Maybe that's what I need to talk about a little bit more on this channel, to show people that no, my life is not rosy. My life had not been rosy. I've had a lot of experiences, but up until this point, to last year, I can say, when I actually got it, found this community and started and moved away from the person that I was in the that brought me into the community. Once I detached myself, because that was negative energy, and there was heartache with that too, because people do witchcraft and voodoo. It was some stuff going on with that, and I felt it, and I had to close myself off, which I'm closed off from that individual. That individual has no power over or control over me. They never did, but I thought they did. They never did. I'm officially saying you don't have control over me if you're coming to watch my video. Take your evilness elsewhere. Take your heartbreak that you haven't dealt with elsewhere. The reason you're causing heartbreak for others is because you haven't dealt with your own. And the karma that you're going to receive because of what you're knowingly doing will affect you and those people as well. And it's going to affect you even more because you are someone that knows better. You know the ramifications. You know what will happen if you do the wrong thing. Heartache. I'm rambling. I wasn't trying to do that. But I guess apparently I needed to talk about that as well. I'm going to stop from here. I'm going to stop because this is deep. This heartbreak is deep, isn't it? Most people think it's just heartbreak with your divine masculine. No, it starts with heartbreak from day one, the minute you came on this earth. And wow, let me talk about that, because I actually wrote something about that on another person's channel, on Soul Song 717's channel. The day I was born at a hospital where I was the only baby born that evening, and the nurses cared me more than my mother did. So maybe this is probably why a lot of the heartbreak for me is as well, because we didn't bond. My mother and I didn't bond. And I can honestly say, looking at childhood pictures, I wasn't around my mother. We would be in, we would be in the picture together, but we were never like lovey-dovey as a child. If you see some older pictures, like me in my 30s, 40s, and 50s, because I am in my 50s, it's you might see a little bit more of that, but that's because I've done work on myself. I've worked through a lot of the issues that she caused, or I perceived that she caused. I was never close to her. I was never. I was always either with my sister or with my dad. I was always up under them, or I was up under aunts, or I was next to my grandmother, or I was next to my uncles. But I don't have any pictures of me next to my mother. As a kid, I really don't. And that's kind of strange. I have one picture. It's my favorite picture of my dad holding me. He's looking at me. You know how you look at a baby? My mother must have taken that picture, but she took a picture of my father looking at me, and I'm looking right back at my father. That's one of my favorite pictures. My favorite pictures. But I don't have anything like that with my mother holding me like that. She's always been closer to my sister and my brother, but we never really bonded. So maybe with her not having me after giving birth, and I've all these other nurses, whoever the nurses were, I have their imprint on me from day one. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? But I'm working through the heartbreak, and you all need to work through it too, because this plant. What does it say? I'm gonna read it again. Be the medicine that heals the pierced heart. You can be your own medicine to heal yourself. I choose to be the euthanasia for myself to heal this heartbreak. You can do that too for yourself. Healing from grief takes time. Understand that. It is not like you take the pill and it's like, okay, you're done. No, it's a process. I can definitely tell you, before I came on this channel, before I came in this community, I have been healing from things. I have been healing from the loss of my father for years. I'm still healing from it. I'm still dealing with things of not him being here. I miss him every day. I know he's around. I see glimpses of him. Definitely see glimpses of him via DM, because DM definitely reminds me of my dad in some ways. No, he's not. My daddy is not DM. No, we're not doing that. But DM has characteristics of my father. I do see the good and the bad. Because if you've, let me see, my dad used to slip and slide, duck and hide all the time. My mother had the heartbreak too. They were twin flames. And before he died, they were finally getting things right when he died. Finally. He had finally slowed down from creeping and doing whatever else he was doing. Well, let me talk about that, the heartache. I know about my father going with other women. I know about that because I used to go with him as a kid. It just came to, one day as a young adult, I realized that I was with my dad. I was his escape route to go see the other women. Think about that. Think about what that does to a kid. Think about the images. I never seen him doing anything. No, nothing like that. But I know that I would go with my dad and he would go and be with other women. I mean, he was going with his friends too. But think about the heartache that I had to deal with thinking about that. I had to really, process that. It's deep. A kid going with their father knowing that they're going to see other women. Yeah. So I've processed a lot. And I know I still have a whole lot more to process. It's a never-ending story. But as I become more open to the information that comes to me, and that I'm able to process, because a lot of things come to me, but I can't process it all. I don't understand it all, and if that's happening, it's because I'm not at the level where I can, But the stuff that I can digest and that I can process, I will talk about it here on my channel. Because I know that there are other people that are somewhere else in their journey, not where I am, where they can come and they can actually relate to this heartache in some way, shape, and form, within their childhood, within their teenage years, within their young adult, and how it affects them with their DM. So hopefully hopefully this message will help someone in some way, shape, and form. I may be prompted to do more of these like this. It's just that this card popped up for me for a reason. This Herb Crafter's Tarot is a wonderful deck because it's a lot of healing messages in here. I can't heal you. I am saying that I can. I'm saying that the conversations that we have can be healing for you, because if you can relate to the words that are being spoken from me, you can apply them in your own way to your life, to your situation, and that will help you release the negatives, the hurts, demons, however you want to process the darkness. It'll help you process it and release it, because once you bring it into the light, you can diffuse it. Okay, that's all I have to say. I'll be doing some readings this afternoon, so I'll see you soon. Peace. Thank you for stopping by Healing Conversations with Z. I'm hoping you enjoyed this conversation. Maybe if you like this kind of stuff, please let me know. Today I was just prompted to talk about the three of air, heartache, healing heartache, and talking about it. You take care. Peace.